And a big fan of Bruce Willis, if you can believe that. I went for him and stuff. I loved moonlighting. Bruce Willis was a pride of Penns Grove, New Jersey, a homeboy, so to speak. So I was there for Bruce Willis, but I walked out of there going, who was the other guy? The other guy was amazing, because Alan was an actor that other actors talked about, and not in a shitty way. There's a handful of them where they go, Jesus Christ, man. Nick Cage, John Malkovich, Johnny Depp, Oscar Isaacs has now entered that list. People that are fucking fearless and give like insanely wonderful performances, so much so they create a new patois, a new language for performance. Like, they're not content to just do the job. They don't execute, they fucking elevate. He's one of those guys, and people talked about him for years. I talked to other actors, like Ben worshipped at the altar of Rickman. He was like, Rickman's a fucking genius, dude. He's going, if I could be half as good an actor as Rickman. I was like, dude, if you could be half as good an actor as Jason fucking Mewes. But we all loved him. We loved him. And I'd watched anything he was in, obviously, like the big stuff like Robin Hood and whatnot. But just little things. He made this movie once with Madeline Stowe called Closet Land, which is a fantastic two-hander, just the two of them doing a prisoner of conscious movie. It's so fucking good. He was just an incredible actor. So we heard in Chasing Amy, we did Chasing Amy in '97, we were getting ready for Dogma. And John Gordon, who was our exec on the movie, said, I had a meeting with Alan Rickman here about this other fucking movie that we're doing, and all he would talk about was Chasing Amy. He loves Chasing Amy. And I was like, get the fuck out of here, man. Like, then we should send him the Dogma script. Because how amazing would it be if he was the voice of God, if he was Metatron? And we were told, like, dude, he's picky. Like, he may have liked Chasing Amy, but he doesn't do everything. You've seen the movies he does. He picks very specific things. So we'll try. But you gotta understand, like, this dude, he's got a bunch of people trying to punch his ticket right now. And fucking, we got a call a week later going like, Alan Rickman loved your script and he wants to talk about it. He wants to see about being in the movie and stuff. So I talked to him on the phone. He was like, hello. I'm Alan Rickman. I was like, I fucking know that, man. Oh my God, I'm such a huge fan and stuff. He goes, from Die Hard. I said, deeper than that, dude. I love Closet Land. He goes, oh. You know, because suddenly he was like, that's deep cuts and shit. So this was a dude who I remember I was telling Jay before we fucking made the flick, like, when we got Rickman was our first real fucking score. You know what I'm saying? Like, Ben and Matt were famous, but we knew them for years before they became famous. Rickman was the first non-friend who stepped up and was like, oh, I'll do this. And by him doing that, fucking Chris Rock was like, Alan Rickman's in this? Oh, fuck. Chris Rock also loved Chasing Amy and shit. Salma Hayek, same thing. She was like, Alan Rickman's in it? He was the doorway to other actors. At one point, he brought us Emma Thompson. He was like, my only question for you is who's playing God in this? And I was like, well, you're the voice of God, but in terms of the person, I had originally thought of it as being Holly Hunter. That's why, like, she didn't talk in that movie, the piano. That's why there's the piano joke in Dogma and shit, because God doesn't talk. And he goes, did you reach out to her? I said, yeah. She said she just played an angel in another movie, so she don't want to do that. And he goes, what about Emma Thompson? And I said, what about her? She's amazing. He goes, she's a friend of mine. She's a wicked sense of humor. And she's always seen herself as God, so this wouldn't be much different. He says, oh my God, you want to ask her? Absolutely. And Alan Rickman asked Emma Thompson. And we had Emma Thompson as God for about 4 months in Dogma. And then Emma Thompson was going to have a kid instead. And she wrote me this lovely fucking letter. I still have it on Emma Thompson's stationery. And she was like, you know, I want to be in this movie. I think it's so fun. I love Alan so much. But I've decided to have a kid, so I'm going to take this time to do that and stuff. So I'm going to back out. Hopefully we can work together somewhere down the line. And so, very classy and shit. And then later on, you know, that role was open. Alanis Morissette, who had once offered the lead role of Bethany to her, she was like, that's too much. I don't think I can handle that. And so I carry a whole movie. I don't think I could do it. And then she went to India, and she got recharged and relaxed, and she came back, and she was like, I know Bethany has been cast, but like, I'd love to come play if there's any role that's still open. I said, there's one small but very crucial role that's wide open. And I told her, I was like, you'd be playing God. And she's like, why me? And I was like, because I always thought God was Canadian. So she wound up being God. But Alan had brought us fucking Emma Thompson at one point. So I was telling Mewes, man, I was like, dude, we got fucking Alan Rickman. He's like, who's that? And I was like, fucking Die Hard, man. Yippee-ki-yay and shit like that. He goes, Bruce Willis? And I was like, no, that's the other guy. I was like, fucking the dude, Hans Gruber and shit. He goes, oh, he was good, but why is that a big deal? I was like, because he's fucking one of the greatest actors that ever lived. Are you serious? Like, number one, he's British, and Brits invented fucking acting. Number two, this is the actor's actor, man. Other actors look up to him. He's like who? I was like Affleck. He goes, Affleck. I was like, Matt Damon loves him too. He goes, well, Matt's smart. I was like, yes, man. I said, this fucking dude, I was like, you gotta be on point, dude. You can't fucking snoochie boochies this guy and shit. Because Jason, in the beginning, when we'd make the movies, he was very uncomfortable playing Jay. Like, I'd write the script based on who he was and the things he said and things that, like, he literally said to me. And I'd write them down and shit. And I wrote Clerks, handed him the script, and it was like, hey man, what do you think? And he read it. He's like, I don't know if I could do this. And I was like, why not? It's fucking you. It's literally you. And he goes, well, right here I say snoochie boochies. Why would I say that? I'm like, why do you say that? So traditionally, back in the day, we would take like a month to train Jay how to be Jay in a movie. It was weird. It was like relearning somebody that had a stroke or lost their memory or something. No, you say noinch, you know, shit like that. So we rehearsed like that, like Clerks, I rehearsed with him solo, Mallrats, Chasing Amy, him and I have always rehearsed solo. Dogma, same thing. I kept impressing on him. I was like, dude, this is fucking serious. No stoochie boochies this time. We got a real actor in the movie, like fucking Alan Rickman. So it's no longer just the Ben Affleck show. We gotta be good. We gotta fucking pull top notch and shit like that. I was like, because you can't fuck around with these Brits. And he goes, why? What would fucking happen? I was like, I'll tell you right now, if you fucking like give that snoochie boochies nonsense to an Alan Rickman, motherfucker will shut you down right on set, embarrass you in front of everybody, dress you the fuck down, man, with a British voice, make you sound twice as fucking stupid. I said, so trust me, you wanna fucking be top notch, you gotta be on point for this. You can't be sitting around fucking, you know, going, I don't wanna act in front of people. On fucking Clerks, we were shooting the scene where we dance in front of the store. And this motherfucker, like, is always dancing his whole fucking life. So I was like, this is gonna be the easiest scene in the world. The tough thing is gonna get me to move, because I'm the heavy guy and shit. But I had one move, I did that. So we go to shoot the scene, and it's me and Jay leaning against the wall outside. And the only other two people in all of Leonardo at 3 in the morning is Scott Mosier, who's holding a boom pole, and Dave Klein, who's running the camera. That's it. 4 of us right in front of Quick Stop. And so I'm like, you ready for this? And he goes, can't dance in front of all these fucking people. I was like, who, me, him, and them? He goes, well, you don't care about you, but I don't know these guys that much and shit. So I was like, you know what? Just put the boom pole on the ground. Dave, just turn the camera on, walk away, go into the store and hide. Duck below so we don't see you in the windows. So when you see us dancing, Scott Mosier and Dave Klein, the DP, are right inside the store, sitting there behind the door going, what a fucking asshole this kid is. Can you believe this shit? So I was like, dude, you can't do shit like that with Alan Rickman, man. You gotta act in front of him on command. You can't fucking embarrass me and shit. So when we finally rehearsed for Dogma, we were in Pittsburgh. Me and him shared a suite. He had a room, I had a room, then we had a shared living room and stuff. So I was like, meet me in the living room, we're gonna go over the script. Bring your script, we're gonna rehearse from top to bottom. So he comes in, he sits down, he has no fucking script. He's just sitting there smoking a cigarette. And I was like, where's your script? He goes, don't have it, don't need it. I said, seriously? He goes, yep, try me. I was like, all right. So I went to the script and I read a line that preceded his, Bethany line, and he did his monologue that followed and shit. I was like, look at you, you know your way around the first scene. I was like, let me try another one. I flipped into the script, found a different scene, read his lead in, boom, he had his fucking response as Jay. Did that 3 more times. I was like, holy shit, dude, you memorized all your fucking dialogue. Well done. He goes, I didn't just memorize all my dialogue. I said, what do you mean? He goes, do another line in the movie. I said, all right. I flipped through the script and I took a line that Loki had to Bartleby. So I read the Matt Damon line and all of a sudden fucking Jason spit out the Ben Affleck line. And I was like, you fucking know Ben's part? He goes, I know all the parts. Scene, trying to nail him, man. Even shit where I'm like, I read one line and then tried to trick him to give the response line. He goes, no one says shit. It's a silent Bob nod. Fucking blown away. I was like, you memorized the whole fucking script? What are you, Rain Man? Why did you do this? And he goes, I don't want to piss off that Rickman dude. So I had this moment that I'll take with me to the grave. I'll never forget. There's a moment on Dogma, I was directing something or I was setting up a shot, and then I turned to go to probably snack table or something like that. And I saw as I turned this fucking weird visual that I was like, well, that's strange. Jason Mewes sitting on the church steps, the one in the movie, with Alan Rickman, engaged in deep conversation. Like really fucking hardcore conversation. And I remember thinking, what could they fucking possibly have to say to one another? Like, oh my God. I remember asking Mewes later on, I was like, what were you talking about with Alan Rickman on the church steps? And Jason goes, pussy and Star Wars. Sit there and talk to him about anything. He was genuinely interested. You don't get to be that good an actor unless you're a great study of humanity. And he liked people a lot. He seemed to like us quite a bit. We only ever worked with him in a movie that one time, but he was in our lives for the next 15 years after that flick. Never left our lives. Like when we wrapped up on Dogma, he gave me this atrocious fucking tree topper. It looks like an angel, but it has a dog's head on it. And he goes, this reminds me of your motion picture. Very conflicted and ugly. But humorous nonetheless. Well, thanks, man. And that's been on our tree, like every Christmas tree I've shared with my wife. Because I knew Alan Rickman before I met Jennifer, my wife. In fact, Alan met Jennifer around the same time I did. And I remember going, at one point we were standing on set, she was there, we were chit-chatting, she left, she went somewhere with Chris Rock to the snack table, I believe, and Alan Rickman goes, you dog. And I was like, you think she likes me? He goes, it's very apparent, because she's a chubby chaser. In our relationship, he would always be like, how's Jennifer? And then later on, by extension, how's Harley? He would always ask about the kid. He was wrapped up in our lives in a weird way, considering that we only made that movie once. I tried to put him in a lot of stuff, but he was always working and stuff. He was originally the voice for Leonardo in the Clerks cartoon. That's why Leonardo looks like Hans Gruber. But it wound up being Alec Baldwin instead. But at first it was Alan Rickman. We have track of him doing the voice. But he didn't want to do a British accent. He's like, I loathe my accent. So he wanted to do a voice. So instead he did Ross Perot, if you remember that. It's kind of crazy and stuff. Originally he was going to be in Red State, the role that John Goodman played. He was going to do, but he couldn't do it. He was doing something else at the time. He was supposed to be in Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back, but he was working on, I believe, Harry Potter by that point or something like that. So he was always engaged, but he stayed involved in our personal lives. Whenever we went over to England, he would call us and be like, we have to go out to dinner, and he would take us out. Whenever he was in Los Angeles, he was like, you have to take me out to dinner. And like, he was adorable. I did this like once at the O2 Center in London, and him and his girlfriend, who later on became his wife Rima, who he'd been with for like 40 years, they came to see the show. And he loved it. He was like, I love going to your shows. Everyone in the audience is so lovely and they all look like you. And people come up to him and take pictures and shit. He loved it. So we were driving from the O2 back to London. He's like, we're taking you out to late night dinner. So as we're driving, he goes, I wanted to tell you I bought an apartment. I can't do his voice the whole time. He goes, I want to tell you I bought an apartment in New York. And I said, get out of here, man, because he wanted to live in New York. He wanted to commit. He'd done plays there. He directed a play there as well, but he'd never gotten a place. So he was like, I finally broke down and bought an apartment in New York. I was like, that's awesome, man, congratulations. He goes, well, maybe not. I said, why? He goes, I bought an apartment in the same building as Ray Fiennes. And I was like, well, that's nice, because you live next to a friend. He goes, that's not nice at all. If the Harry Potter people find out that Voldemort and Snape live in the same building, they'll bring it to the ground. They're a really, really sweet fucking sense of humor. Funny guy, man. Nice dude. Talented as fuck. Fuck. You will never meet anyone as good at what they do in life as Alan Rickman was. And if I say that about his work, let me pay him one compliment further to show you what a fucking real true gem he was. He was one of the most, if not the most brilliant actor I've ever been exposed to in my life, but certainly that I've ever worked with. Present company excluded. He's exceptional at his job. You'll never meet anyone who's as exceptional at their fucking job as Alan was at his. But as grand as he was at being an actor, he was even better at being a human being. He was invested in humanity. He fucking cared about people and stuff. A wonderful actor, but a better person. And one day we got the phone call that Alan died, and it was fucking shocking because he wasn't sick or anything like that. And I remember I'd had a conversation with him when he'd been in Los Angeles a year prior, I think. He was like, I'm in Los Angeles, you owe me a dinner. And I was like, oh my God, I can't right now. When are you coming back? And he told me, and I said, we'll do it then. And we didn't because he passed away. So number one, always fuck. If somebody goes, hey, let's go to dinner, go to fucking dinner. You never know, man. You never know what's gonna happen and shit, particularly if they're paying, fuck. But number two, man, like I'm always happy to report to people, like there are a lot of talented people in this world, or quote unquote talented. People call it talent. I have a real bone to pick with that. I don't think that's talent, man. Like talent to me is not getting up and pretending to be something else. That's not, you know what talent is? Building a combustion engine. Or building a fucking building, being an architect or shit like that, or being the person in construction that puts it together. Because if you fuck up, people die. But like, making pretend, like that's not talent. Like it doesn't take talent to be like, I'm Batman. Fucking Ben Affleck did it, you know? He was just exceptional at what he did. Some people will call it talent and stuff, but he was just insanely exceptional at making pretend as an adult. And he knew it was a silly job. He he treated it with all seriousness. It was the art, it was the craft. But at the same time, he's just like, this is not the noble work. He's going, this is the thing we do to entertain the people that do the noble work so that they keep doing the noble work. Like, we're just clowns. Like, he had a healthy perspective and a healthy respect for the gig as well. I miss him dearly, so any chance I get to talk about him is a good thing. Thank you so much.